morning or evening or afternoon, whatever it is. But just use our 30 minutes to focus the mind and do something useful. Have productive thoughts. Basically, unless we're doing concentration meditation where we consciously don't buy into the thoughts, we either do those meditations or here we will do one where we will use our thoughts. And I thought we would do the purification practice, the one that we would do at the end of the day, which finishes your day with. It's a very skillful thing to do. As Lama Zopa says, it's a practice that we're insane not to do it every day. So what it's based on, we'll just steady our mind, steady our body, get our body in an appropriate position, in a conducive position. Remember, the body doesn't meditate, but it's extremely important to have it in the right position, because then it helps the mind do the job, So we'll just check the body again. The classic position that all the great yogis from the last centuries have found to be most conducive for the mind to do its job. So best if we can be in full lotus position. As His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, this position, they talk in the texts about how this position helps the subtler energies align nicely in the mind to be very flexible and keep the mind sharp. So as His Holiness says, if we can even start our session, in full lotus position with the left leg up and the right leg on each thigh, and it's a very stable position. All the great meditators have found that you can stay in this. If the ones who meditate day and night, who really got realizations, they can stay like that for days without toppling over. So it's very practical. So he says it's very auspicious if you can start your session in that position just for a moment. If not, it's okay. Regular cross-legged. If not that, sitting in a chair, whatever we can do. Aim for the best and then do what you can. The first one then. The second is, your bottom. If you're sitting cross-legged, we have to find the way, what works best for us. So if our legs are very flexible, then you could have a cushion just under your coccyx. So it just props you up slightly and thrusts you slightly forward rather than having the feeling of toppling back. But it depends on your body. Now, if we're sitting in chairs, okay, we sit in a chair. So the second point is your bottom. There's about 7 or 8 points. The second point here is for those of us who are sitting in chairs. The third point is your back to be straight, upright, so you don't slump the body. Because if you slump the body, again, these subtler physical energies, the subtler wind energies in the subtle body can't flow smoothly. And because the mind is connected to these winds, then the mind gets sluggish. So for those of us sitting in chairs, it's important not to slump in the chair. Have your body upright. It's best not to be in a very comfy couch, because you just go to sleep, So have your body upright. If you're in a regular chair, move yourself forward. Don't lean against the back of the chair, and have your feet firmly planted on the ground. So your back upright. And they talk about the shoulders to be not tight, not tense, but again, upright, strong, but relaxed. This is my extra point here. I like to think of my whole skeleton as completely upright. If the bones were like hanging on a hanger, everything would be very upright. And then you imagine all the rest of your body, all the muscles on the soft parts hanging very loosely on the hanger. No tension. So your shoulders kind of square, but no tension. They don't mention the abdomen, but I think we hold our abdomen very tensely. So keep your body upright, but relax the muscles, relax the abdomen. They don't mention that, but it's a good point. Then the main point, and the next one is your hands. So there's this classic position, the mudra, gesture, having the hands left underneath, right on top, thumbs touching, forming a triangle in your lap. But you can have it as you wish. Some meditators have them on each palm upright on each knee. You can just relax your hands as you wish. And then finally, the head. Several things with the head. Slightly tilted forward. If you have your head thrust back, again, that makes the mind agitated. Slightly tilted forward. Your chin, in other words, your chin slightly tucked in. The next thing is your lips and your jaw. Have your jaw relaxed, jaw relaxed, and then your lips slightly apart, and the tip of the tongue resting behind the top teeth, just near the palate. And this seems a bit odd, but again, it's practical. The yogis have found, those who meditate for a long time at one stretch, that when the tip of the tongue is behind the top teeth, this prevents you from dribbling. It prevents you from swallowing the spit all the time. So it's very practical. The tip of the tongue behind the top teeth, just resting there. Then finally, your eyes. The great meditators have also found it's good to have your eyes open. And the reason for that is when you're meditating a long time, let's say during the day, as they would be, then the light comes in. But because their minds are so focused, they don't get distracted. But for most of us, we're not very good meditators. We don't have very good concentration. So probably it distracts us having our eyes open. So we have them lightly closed. But beneath your eyelids, you have your eyes looking down, as if you're looking along your nose towards the ground. That's the position. So that's your legs, your back, your hands, shoulders, head tilted forward, chin tucked in, tip of the tongue behind the top teeth, lips slightly apart, eyes looking down. So now settle into that position, but be very unself-conscious about it. I mean, we're so addicted to our bodies. We're so conscious of our body. That's what we even think I am. We feel our bodies, and we judge even whether we're happy or suffering based on how our bodies feel. You know, we make the body the boss, as Lama Yeshe says, which is really mistaken. It's giving so much more power to our senses than they actually have. We have to learn, this is Buddha's expertise, we have to learn to become super conscious about our mental consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. That's what our job is, to bring more and more of that to the surface, so we can then learn to be in charge of our mind and slowly unpack and unravel the thoughts and feelings and emotions and become in charge of them. That's what being a Buddhist means, you know, not just making it all go away. That's naive. So the body is in the position. Okay, so we just do this little practice. This they're called the 4 opponent powers, the 4 powers. Think of them as the 4 R's. We'll just go through each one, thinking through these points, you know, as sincerely as we can, to the degree that it makes sense to us. But just first, just do 2 or 3 minutes of just watching our breath, steadying our mind, focusing our mind. So the job here is to simply pay attention. That's all. Just pay attention with determination. Pay attention to the sensation at the tip of your nose as you breathe in and out for about 2 quality minutes. Okay, just pay attention to that breath. Anchor your mind to that breath. Keep it firm and concentrated. Just pay attention to the breath. Okay, so let's do these thoughts. Let's do this thinking. The crucial thing to remember all the time with thoughts is that every thought counts. Every thought leaves imprints in the mind, programs our mind with those tendencies, and then having other results as well. They produce our future. We basically produce ourselves moment by moment. And what does it is the thoughts. The body is just this thing that carries out the wishes of the thoughts. So the first step is in the 4 R's. The first step is regret. This is the first step. This is basically acknowledging the various things we've done with our body, first our body, then our speech, and then our mind, that have been called negative, which means things we've done with our body, for example, start with the body, that have been, the first level is that have harmed others, you know. So of course, because our mind goes back and back and back, there are countless imprints in the mind from actions we've done in the past. The purification process is to acknowledge and regret the actions we've done, because we don't want future suffering. This is the crucial point about this first step, which is on the basis of karma, this principle, this law that, according to Buddha, is what runs the universe. We run within this law just naturally every second. Whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think, these are what program us. These are actions, karma. They program us. So we're trying to change our mind. So the first one is we want to have to acknowledge and then regret actions that are labeled negative. So maybe today, maybe yesterday, maybe this life, you think of some of the actions, but the heaviest ones would be those that harm others. So in particular here, let's say killing. Some of us might have done fishing. Some of us might have had an abortion. Some of us might have killed people, killed the ants, killed the rats, killed the cockroaches. This is not uncommon in our culture. It's normal to do that. So the first thing is think of the body, but not just that. We've also maybe taken things that don't belong to us. That's using our body. Maybe we've, harmed others sexually. Maybe we've raped. Maybe we've cheated on our partners. We've used our body, in other words, to do actions that harm sentient beings. These are the heaviest level of our negative actions, those that harm others. So you constantly think with the body, let's say, just think. This life, for example, things you've done with your body to harm others. Punched people, stolen, raped, cheated on the partners, killed. Just remember, and even one or two, I always think of the abortion I had when I was 23. So the attitude towards this is not, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. I'm a bad person. That's typical. That's guilt. That is absolutely useless. What we're trying to do is be practical and remember, what did I do? Because those actions we did, based on delusions, based on fear, anger, attachment, they sowed seeds in our mind. We want to pull those seeds out. We want to put bombs under those seeds. We don't want those seeds to stay in the mind. Why? I don't want future suffering. This is the point. It's like self-respect. It's like kindness to oneself. So we just contemplate for a couple of minutes and try and just recall, actions in this life, yesterday, today, this life, that you've done that have harmed others. Just kind of list them in your mind very clearly with your body. And then think, because we can do this in 1 hour. We've only got 15 minutes left, so we just do it quickly and get the meaning behind it. And the next thing is your speech. And this is the commonest one. We mightn't rape and kill anybody, but we love using our speech, saying things that aren't true, harsh speech, in particular, saying bad things about people behind their backs. We do that all the time, thinking it's completely normal. So the point here about these actions, we're not feeling guilty because we're bad people. We're realizing because of our ignorance, because of our uncontrol, because of our lack of discipline, because of our ignorance and attachment and anger, we've harmed ourselves. By doing those actions, we've left seeds in our mind that will ripen as our suffering. This is the point here. You know what? You say to yourself, I don't want further suffering. I'm sick of suffering. I don't want to be harmed, lied to, stolen from. This is the point. I'm sick of suffering. So from the depths of my heart, I regret having done those actions out of my own, foolishness, out of my ignorance, because I don't want future suffering. This is clear, so clear. So think of all the actions we've ever done since beginning this time. We don't remember them. 99% we don't remember. Of course we don't. But they're in our mind, We don't want them to ripen as suffering. We're sick of suffering. So whatever I've done with my body and speech since beginning this time, I regret from the depths of my heart, because I don't want future suffering. This is like compassion for ourselves. It's not guilt, nothing to do with guilt. It's just how foolish I was. It's like eating sugar and you're a diabetic and you didn't realize what a fool I was. I regret having done that. And all the actions of your mind, which are the source of it, the anger, the attachment, your fears, your anxiety, your jealousy, your depression, all this nonsense that causes us so much pain. I regret all of this from the depths of my heart, because I do not want further suffering. I'm sick of suffering. So next step, second one, reliance. Whom can I turn to? Where's the doctor? So here our doctor is the Buddha. So just visualize above your crown the Buddha in this aspect of the Bodhisattva aspect. If you're familiar, fine. If not, don't worry. Just imagine this energy, this Buddha in the Bodhisattva aspect, looking very gorgeous, white light. You see in the pictures, like Tara, Chenrezig, that style, not like the monk. It's called Vajrasattva, the main Buddha in Tantra. You visualize them above your crown. And if you've got a spiritual teacher, you think it's their mind manifesting as this Buddha for your benefit above your crown. And you think, this is the first part of the second step. It's called reliance. Is you're delighting that you found a decent doctor. You're delighting that you if you're confident about Buddha, that you found this person whose methods, whose medicine you can use to purify yourself. So it's like delighting. We have the Buddha as our doctor. And then second part here is having now compassion. Have compassion for those we've harmed. I think of that fetus who came to my body due to karma with each other, the creatures I'd killed by accident maybe, but the ones I've killed, or can't be, the mice I've harmed, the creatures I've harmed, the people I've harmed with my body and speech, the ones I've lied to, harmed, all those sentient beings, and all the ones we can't remember. Have compassion for them. I regret for their sake now. Must only benefit them now. Must purify for their sake. And if you can have compassion for those who've harmed you, that's amazing. Why should you have compassion for people who've harmed you? Because they will suffer in the future. Next step, the remedy. We'll just do it very brief. Now we imagine from the Buddha, so happily the Buddha, he sends powerful kind of nectar, powerful like a hose of energy, like a hose, a very strong hose, powerful nectar from his heart. It arcs around and enters into your crown and completely fills you. Imagine. And first of all, what this does, we imagine, fills us completely with this blissful nectar, and it forces out through the lower parts of our body all the imprints of the actions we've ever done with our bodies to harm others since beginningless time. And have confidence. The point is your mind. The mind is what creates negativity, causing the body to do it. And it's the mind that creates positivity, which purifies it. So the strength of your own mind, your confidence, and your wish to purify, your wish to change your mind. That's what purifies. So visualize this nectar forcing out through the lower parts of your body, like yucky smoke, like liquid, like dirty liquid, all the imprints of all the harm we've ever done with our body. As we say the mantra, just 3 times. And if you don't know the mantra, just listen and visualize this purification. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopatita Dido Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Suposhayo Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sama Karma Sutsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopatita Dido Mebawa Sutoshayo Mebawa Suposhayo Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sawa Karma Sutsame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ahung Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Cheno Patita Dido Mebava Sudoshayo Mebava Suboshayo Mebava Anurakta Mebava Sarva Siddhi Prayasa Sava Karma Sutsame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ahung Pe. Now imagine all the nectar coming again from the Buddha. It arcs around and fills us completely. This time it comes up to the top of the body and it leaves the top of our body through all the top part of our body. This is where we purify our speech. Just like Lama Yeshe says, when you turn on the tap in the sink, all the junk in the glass comes to the surface, doesn't it? Just like that, leaving through the top part of our body all the imprints of all the harm we've ever done with our ridiculous speech, uncontrolled speech, angry speech, lying speech, confused speech, all of the stuff that comes out of our mouth. Since beginning this time, all of this, purified completely. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Cheno Patita Dido Mebhava Sudoshayo Mebhava Suboshayo Mebhava Anurakta Mebhava Sarva Siddhi Prayasa Savakama Sutsame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabha Mahasamaha Sattva Ahung Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Cheno Patita Dido Mebhava Sudoshayo Mebhava Suboshayo Mebhava Anurakta Mebhava Sarva Siddhi Prayasa Savakama Sutsame Siddham Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahung Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Cheno Patita Dida Mebhava Sutoshayo Mebhava Suposhayo Mebhava Anurakta Mebhava Sarva Siddhi Prayasa Savakama Sutsame Siddham Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahung Pe. Full of this nectar, so happy, purifying our old ridiculous habits, disappeared. So now our mind, the source of all the problems, and this is the ego grasping, this root delusion that kind of clings to this concrete sense of me. It's underneath everything that then gives rise to this incredible emotional neediness, this attachment to get what the me wants, and then the anger, the aversion, the panic, the frustration, the upset, the irritation, the despair, the depression, this whole spectrum of aversion, which is what happens when attachment doesn't get what it wants. And this is where we do so much harm. So all of these, and then all the other ridiculous states of mind that causes so much pain. All of this, imagine completely purified. This time, the Buddha sends light beams. I don't know if light beams can bend, but just imagine they do. Light beams from his heart that arc around, enter our crown, and instantly the light fills us. As Lama Yeshe says, the second you turn on a light in the room, instantly the darkness is dispelled, isn't it? Like that, think like that. Instantly full of this blissful light, completely annihilating, completely purifying all the stuff in our minds, all the nonsense that's the source of our own pain, the source of why we do dumb things with our body and speech, and the source of therefore why we harm others. All of this, imagine purifying the mind. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Cheno Patita Dido Mebhava Sutoshayo Mebhava Suboshayo Mebhava Anurakta Mebhava Sarva Siddhi Prayasa Savakama Sutsame Siddham Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahung Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Cheno Patita Dido Mebhava Sutoshayo Mebhava Suboshayo Mebhava Anurakta Mebhava Sarva Siddhi Prayasa Savakama Sutsame Siddham Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahung Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Cheno Patita Dido Mebhava Sutoshayo Mebhava Suboshayo Mebhava Anurakta Mebhava Sarva Siddhi Prayasa Savakama Sutsame Siddham Shriyam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahung Pe. Full of this blissful light, imagine. So the fourth step, the most important, as Pabonka Rinpoche says, This is in the 4 R's. It's this resolve, the determination to change. You see, because nothing is set in stone. Negativity is not at the core of our being. We need to learn to see this logically by thinking about it. But this is the Buddha's point. There's no tendency in the mind that we can't change. Therefore, there's no imprints left from actions of body and speech that we can't remove before they ripen. You can pull out the seeds before they ripen. If they've ripened, then you handle it. But so here we're trying to, put atomic bombs under all the infinite number of seeds that we have planted in our mind as tendencies that will eventually ripen as our future suffering. We don't want suffering. It's so practical. And then we thought of all those we have harmed, so we have compassion for them. And then we did the practice. And then now we make decisions. So if we've taken vows, for example, if we become a Buddhist and we've vowed not to kill, not to steal, not to lie, not to cheat on partners, and not to take intoxicants or any of those 5, you make a quick little kind of, you decide, okay, I will keep those vows. I will not kill. I'll watch my body like a hawk today. Check the ants and the cockroaches. I will not kill. I will not take the ungiven. You determine to do this. You determine to keep your vows. You remind yourself, I will not lie. I'll watch my speech so carefully. I will not lie. I will not cheat on my partner. And if it is the 5th one, the intoxicants, I will not take intoxicants. So it's like doing push-ups every day. You keep getting better at it. We don't think that about our mind. We just think it's wishful thinking. No, every thought counts. And the more determined we are, we know this, the more determined we are. I'll watch my speech like a hawk today. I know who I'm going to meet. I know it's dangerous. So I'm going to watch my speech like a hawk, especially speech among each other. I will not say bad words. I will control my speech. And when we make that decision, the end of the day or whenever, then we will keep it. Remember, we're programming our mind in these new habits. So just for a second, or like 1 minute, just think of some of your old habits, It mightn't be so bad, but you rabbit on about things, or you just think of certain things and you make some decisions to yourself. And you make it, or you have a timeline. Maybe you've got a really strong habit to shout and yell at somebody, at your partner. And you can't say, I will not do it for, forever. So maybe you'll say for 24 hours, I will not do it. Then you'll feel confident. You'll keep it, So just talk about 1 minute. Make some decisions to yourself about what you're going to do today in terms of your body and speech, because they're the actions that harm others. I will not this, or I will not that. I'll do my best to do this. We know our habits. Make decisions. Maybe it's your old habits like putting things off all the time, your laziness. You might say, okay, for 24 hours, I will not do that. Just be your own friend. This practice is being your own friend. Talk to yourself. Have confidence. So now we imagine that Buddha, Vajrasattva, our Lama as Vajrasattva, he just dissolves into light and delightedly enters through our crown and comes into us. And we just imagine that the energy of the body and the speech and the mind of Vajrasattva, the Buddha, the body, speech, and mind of our own teacher, our Lama, and our own body, speech, and mind, they completely merge. They completely become one. Just imagine this. And just for like 1 or 2 minutes, just kind of imagine yourself completely clear, full of the energy of the Buddha and the Lama, your own mind and body and speech completely pure, your own true nature. This is who you really are. This is your nature, Just for like 1 or 2 minutes, completely imagine you're as big as the universe. Just light, clear, just no thoughts, just for 1 or 2 minutes. Vast, clear, no thoughts. very relaxed. And that's it. Just be delighted. Delight in our efforts. Delight in the fact that we've tried to think these things through, regretting because we're sick of suffering all the nonsense, because we're all human. We're all the same. Then having compassion. Then doing the imagining all the purifying, and then making decisions to change. And I like to think of this practice as being my own friend. Don't think of it as religion. It's completely psychology. And have confidence that, as Lama Yeshe says, we create negativity with our mind, and so we purify it by creating positivity with our mind. And there's no tendencies, there's no actions, there's no thoughts we can't reverse, we can't change. It's a very organic process, and it's for our own sake. We are being our own friend, having confidence in our own ability. So be delighted. Still 30 minutes of thinking, because every thought counts. Jangchub, Semchog Rinpoche, Ma Ke, Panam Ke Guchig, Ke Panyam Pame Payang Gong Ne Gongdu, Kavashog. That's just saying, may compassion, may bodhicitta grow and grow in the hearts of all. Because we're doing this for our own sake, absolutely, never doubt that. But then because we live in this crazy world with others, we're also doing it so we can be a benefit to others eventually. We've got to start with ourselves first, though. So that's it, people. 30 minutes gone like a dream, but 30 minutes of useful thoughts. Be so very happy. Being in charge of our mind, Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, sweethearts. Thank you.